Hello folks, now one of the things I get asked with reasonable regularity is how do I get a better price when I'm buying a car, financing a car, how do I get a good deal? Well, here are a few tips to help you along your way. Let's just start off with one golden rule. Don't walk into a dealership with a big stack of cash and think you're going to get a ton of money off a car buying it with cash. You're just not nowadays. It doesn't happen very often at all. Doesn't mean you can't try, but really, the car dealers want to force you down car finance routes because it's easier for them to keep hold of you as a customer, and of course they earn more money when they sell car finance. So just bear that in mind before we get started. Now, the first thing I would do when I'm considering buying a car, if I'm going round the dealerships, I'm going to visit on a weekday rather than a weekend. And the reason for that is they're nowhere near as busy on a weekday. They're a little bit hungrier for a sale. They've got a bit more time to spend with you. You know, they can go around kicking tyres a little bit more than they can on a busy weekend when everyone that walks in is a potential opportunity that's going to sign on the dotted line. So I strongly suggest going on a weekday rather than a weekend if you're going into a dealership. Second one is don't be a knob. A lot of people go into a car dealership and deal with a car salesperson like they're the enemy and they've got their back up and they're a bit "Urgh." Don't do that. By all means, be very straightforward with the salesperson, but don't be rude, don't be aggressive. When they try a little bit of small talk and a bit of patter and ask you about your day or your weekend, you know, engage with them. Be a normal person. Don't be sort of Mr. Angry from the off. And if you're buying a new car, don't even think of walking into the dealership before you've been onto CarWow and What Car and all those kind of new car buying services and found yourself the best possible price for that model that you're looking for. If you've got a budget in mind, never ever offer that budget. Say your budget's £12,000, don't go in and say, I'll give you £12,000. Offer under that amount so you've got some room to come up, they've got some room to come down. If you start off at your top price, it's going to go nowhere. Now, if you've got a car to part exchange, it's really good to understand the value of that car before you walk into a dealership. So perhaps stick it on Motorway, go to CarWow, go to Cazoo, go to We Buy Any Car, any of those beforehand and get a really good idea of how much you can get for your car. That may be somewhere where you can make a bit of money. So maybe you don't get knocked anything off the price of the car, but the dealership maybe is going to give you 500 quid or £1,000 more for your part exchange than you're going to get from one of those car buying services. So keep that in mind. Prepare your car before you go to the dealership. Know your documentation, know your service history, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you know you've got 2 keys in hand. All that kind of stuff helps to paint a good picture of your car and will help you get the best part exchange price. Now, the other thing is to play your cards a little bit close to your chest. If you walk into a dealership and you see the absolute car of your dreams and there are no others around, they're more expensive, they've got higher mileage, anything like that, these are all things not to tell the car dealer. You're just going in, looking at cars, you've got nothing particular in mind. Oh, I quite like this one, I wouldn't mind a test drive of this one. That's about as enthusiastic as we need to be. When the dealer comes back and starts spitting out some positive things about that car, be prepared, do your research in advance. If you're looking at something like, I don't know, a BMW 3 Series and they come back and say, well, it's got this, this and this. You say, yeah, well, the Audi A4's got this, this and this, and the Mercedes C-Class has got this. So we'll see. You know, make sure that they know that you know a little bit, you've done your homework, and you're not just going to be blindly talked into this car at any cost. Don't be rushed. Don't let the salesperson push you into rushing a decision. You're in control of what you do with your money, and remember that the whole time. Don't be fooled by car finance smoke and mirrors. These are things like where the car dealer says, I'm going to give you £2,000 off the price if you use our finance. I'm going to give you £4,000 off the price if you use our finance. Because when you do the sums at the end, you've generally paid a lot more than whatever they've given you off. So read everything, understand everything. Don't take what the car salesperson is telling you about numbers for granted. Inspect, don't expect. And don't forget, folks, every time that salesman walks off to speak to his manager or phone the area manager to get you the most amazing discount, generally they're talking to someone about something else. It's all part of the show. It's all part of how the deal's done. It's part of the training. If you see them on the phone, quite often there's no one at the other end of it, or they're having a chat about the football or something. So don't fall for the tricks. Not always the case, but 99% of the time it is. Don't be fooled by taking their free extra products or services. This could be something like their gap insurance, which they say is worth £1,000, or their ceramic coating for the car, or it's probably not ceramic coating, but they probably use that word in there, which they say is worth 600, 700 quid. These are all things that are not worth as much as they appear to be. And don't forget, unless you were going to buy them anyway, they're giving you something you don't want. What you really want is money off that car. So tell them to keep their £1,500 worth of extra services and give you £1,500 off the car. Negotiate. It's something to negotiate with. They're putting something on the table. Don't accept it. The gap insurance that they're telling you is worth 800 quid, it's probably worth 200 quid. The ceramic coating or paint and upholstery treatment is probably worth nothing like the amount they want you to charge for it. You could probably pay a hell of a lot less and have a local detailer do it for you and probably do a better job if that is something you even wanted. So don't come out there thinking you've got a deal when you've just got products or services that you didn't want in the first place. Sometimes walking away will get you a call back and you might be offered a better deal, but sometimes the last thing they've put in front of you is the best deal they can offer. You walk away and leave. Okay, if it doesn't meet your needs and your budget, walk away and leave. Another deal will come along in the fullness of time. Sometimes if you've spent half an hour, 45 minutes bartering with a car dealer and they're presenting different finance options and things like that, you've kind of got it in your mind at this point that you're buying, and you're not until you signed on the dotted line. So if it doesn't look right, if you're not 100% happy with it, if it's more than you intended to pay when you walked through the door, simply stand up, thank the person for their time and leave. Thanks for watching this one, folks. I hope it helped some of you out. Please also go to my website, 𝑘notaguru.co.uk, where you'll find lots of useful information about buying and selling cars, leasing cars, things about car finance. Lots of useful info there for you. And of course, if you want to book a call with me at any point, you can also do that via the website, and we can have a one-to-one chat over the phone or on a video call at your convenience.